Do couples share their location indefinitely on iPhone? 26M25F. I used to use Samsung.
After I got myself a new iPhone 15, my girlfriend said we should share our locations.
Because for a few days she had been sharing hers to mine and I didn't.
And today she asked me why and kinda hinted at it.
So I said okay and agreed to share it with her also.
She also just regularly shares her location with her best friends too for safety, I guess.
It just feels weird because I've never done this kind of thing.
But it's not like I am gonna be doing any shady activities or anything.
Just I feel overwhelmed already with all kinds of surveillance in my life and now there's another. Do other couples do this or is this out of the norm generally? Update. Thanks for the lots and lots of comments, guys. Really appreciate it.
Correct me if I am wrong, but from what I observe from these is that the girls seem to be way more enthusiastic about this approach, while most of the guys either don't really care or some straight up don't really like it. I genuinely wonder why.
Anyways, this was interesting and I did decide to share my location 24/7. I think it's fine for me. Only problem it would maybe be not fine is if every time I walk out my house for a beer or groceries or just some air. We live separately but most days together. I am wondering if she would constantly be asking me where we're going or why I am going there. But for sure we'll give it a try, and now that I think of it, as long as there's mutual trust, there's really no reason for it not to work. Less than 3. My fiancé and I share location 24/7, but this is my first relationship that we've done this. You get used to it and it can be kinda cute too.
She watches me drive home so she knows when to go wait for me in the garage, which, not gonna lie, when the garage door goes up and she waiting there all happy to see me is the absolute best part of my day.
Yes, not in a creepy, I want to know where you are at all times way, but like, how far are you from home, I can't call you cause you're using your phone GPS and I want to make sure dinner is done for you, kind of way. 28 male.
Not only do I constantly share my location status with my wife at all times on Google Maps, I share it with my best man. We're living in a wild world and if something goes wrong I'd like to be found lol. I'll share my location with my spouse when I'm traveling somewhere, just to give both of us peace of mind. Not a strong preference either way, but I don't see the harm in it if everyone involved is cool with it.
I share with my fiancé 24/7 because we have zero reason to care about hiding our locations or ensure privacy about where we are at any given moment. It's more about convenience as well. In emergencies, multiple auto accidents, she didn't need to try to convey her location to me because I could just check. I never need to tell her I left work nor my ETA to home since I configured it to notify when I leave the office.
We don't need to tell each other when we leave or arrive home since it's configured with notifications.
I concede that some people value their location privacy from their spouse, but in our case we literally don't care to hide our location. No, I'm not a fan of this at all.
Everyone is entitled to a certain degree of privacy. He, 30M, put it in my 20F, but without consent. Deal breaker?
Hey guys. I've been having casual sex with this guy. I'm 20F and he's 30M.
At first everything was fine and I had fun. He was just a little rough. Fourth time we saw each other I was facing down with him on top of me and he slitted it on my butt.
We never talked about anal sex or anything. I screamed, "What are you doing?"
And he took it out and turned me around and said, "Sorry, are you okay?" Said he got carried away.
And then continued to fuck me on missionary. I felt really bad and wanted to cry but continued with it anyways. It was really rough this time and lasted longer. He apologized later and told me he would take me for dinner, which I know wasn't true because it's been some time and he didn't touch the subject even though I mentioned it slightly.
Then he apologized again and told me he'd never tried anal before, but that he got carried away because he likes me a lot. Is it that bad or am I exaggerating?
He wanted to see me again and I told him I couldn't. It weirded me out a bit. Also, this is the first time I date someone so much older than me. Sexual assault is generally a deal breaker, yeah.
That's not the way a first-timer approaches anal sex.
He's lying to you. He showed no interest in finding out your feelings about the matter.
He knew he'd upset you but didn't care to ask if you were okay continuing. He moved from anal sex to vaginal sex, presumably without cleaning.
This is a great way to get an infection. He's a bad guy who doesn't care about you and he's too old for you anyway. Fuck him right the way off. He's going after people your age for exactly this reason. If you were his age, you wouldn't be asking this. And yes, it's assault.
He doesn't even like you. Just editing to say, I hope.my. Comment doesn't sound harsh. We've all been young and sadly most of us have been taken advantage of while we were young.
Please take this advice and at the very least leave this guy.
A man who loves you wouldn't do this and would treat you with love, kindness and respect.
He did not get carried away, because he really likes you. He is a dog in heat wanting to get off.
You have nothing to do with it.
Please understand that you deserve better.
He sexually assaulted you because his orgasm trumps your consent, so yeah, pretty bad.
There's a reason some people date people much younger and inexperienced than themselves.
He's trying to make up for sexual assault by smooth-talking you and a promise of dinner.
It's insulting.
Not only not okay and a screaming red flag, but you need to watch yourself for signs of vaginosis if he swapped. Get the hell away from him.
Edit update. I looked at your posting history. Wow.
So you've also recently dealt with a guy trying to force you to have sex with no condom, among other things?
And then there was another dude who kept talking about the other women he's banging? Maybe you need to take a break from dating for a while, work on yourself, and re-evaluate what kind of guys you're going out with. I'm not blaming you for their shit behavior, but it seems like you're finding a lot of the same types.
I, 30F, think my boyfriend, 30M, finds me unattractive? About half a year ago, my boyfriend told me that I make him feel unwanted. Since then, I've tried to put more effort into my words of affirmation and physical touch. It was awkward at first because I wasn't used to it, but nowadays it comes more natural and I try to compliment his looks, touch him daily. These past few months he has also started going to the gym more frequently and building muscle.
I think he thinks that my increased attraction to him is due to this, but it's not.
It's because I love him and don't want him to feel unwanted. Ever since I started reassuring him more physically, I noticed that he rarely gives me compliments, say anything about how I look.
I think it's been like this for a while, but I just never noticed it until now. I asked him about it tonight and he said it's because I don't go to the gym to work on myself, so there's nothing to compliment. He also said that the only thing I do is put on makeup, which doesn't make a difference to him. This stung. What does it mean that he has nothing to compliment? Does he think I'm ugly? Does his gym comment mean he thinks I'm fat? I told him how I felt and he said I'm putting words in his mouth and that he never said, fat, or ugly. But if that wasn't what he thought of me, then why does he have absolutely nothing nice to say about me physically? It's time to break up. Do not allow him to damage your self-esteem any further. He's inconsiderate, rude, and possibly negging. The only option is to move on. If you don't plan on breaking up, what kind of advice are you seeking? It doesn't matter what he thinks. He's not treating you as you deserve. Also, a couple months ago, we were talking about sexual fantasies in terms of lingerie, sexy costumes. He said he had none. When I told him I was surprised, he said he is into it, but I just don't have the body for it. I'm 5'2" and 120 pounds. I know I'm far away from having a model's body, but hearing these things make me feel horrible about myself. He doesn't like you. He is basically telling you that. He will probably stick around until the next best thing comes around and he either leave or cheat and then leave. But he's going to demolish your self-esteem no matter what. He's never going to treat you like you deserve. He told you he felt unwanted and you made an effort to change that. You tell him the same and he only insults you and tells you he doesn't want you. I'm not sure what other signals you need. Don't even waste your time trying to figure it out. It's time to leave heart. I think his response lets you know more about what he values, and that's superficial qualities. Does he ever make an effort to know you deeply and know what it's like to experience the world through your eyes? Has the relationship always been superficial? My partner, 27 female, told me, 28 male, that our child, 3 male, might not be mine. What should I do? We have been together for 4 years and lived together for the entire time. We have always struggled with communication, but a few months ago we got into an argument and she said she was done and leaving. We both grew up in separated households, so I asked her if that's really what she wanted for our son. She responded by saying that she wasn't sure if he was even my child. She has since apologized and said that he is definitely mine, but I still have doubts.
Before he was born, she traveled an hour for work and was often home very late or left very early.
She would often go to the gym with a close friend on her days off also. She hasn't done any of that lately, but recently a friend of mine informed me that he believes she has been going to meet another guy.
When I ask her about it, she denies it all and claims she doesn't have time to be meeting someone else. What should I do?
Paternity test,
right fucking now.
She isn't allowed to fucking throw around, "Oh, he might not even be yours," and then deflect the situation entirely.
If she said she isn't sure he's yours, she definitely cheated on you.
I don't know if you're married to this chick, but if you aren't, that's good.
Get a paternity test and see for yourself.
Even though, I would still separate yourself from her.
I get you don't want your child to grow up in a separated household situation, but I would not sacrifice your self-respect and mental health and stay with someone who has no respect for you or the relationship. Figure out a co-parenting situation with her and live your best life.
Paternity test.
Sounds like a toxic relationship.
You might consider breaking up.
Get the test.
She opened that box, she doesn't get to close it on you.
What an absolutely vile thing to say.
You get a paternity test to be sure and you talk to a lawyer. If it turns out it's not your child, kick her out.
Whatever the outcome is, don't blame the kid, he didn't ask for this.
I'm so sorry, dude. Sorry, buddy, she said the truth in anger and it slipped out. She doesn't know who the father is.
You need a DNA test ASAP and take it from the results.
You get a paternity test immediately.
The minute a woman tells you that the child might not be yours, you get a test. If she has a problem with it, she has no one to blame but herself and her big, fat mouth.